All right, we're here. How you guys doing? Do you hear me? Well, it's Kai Senpai, and in 1 week, you're going to be able to speak more like a Californian. Now, I have made a lot of claims in the past about, lots of stuff like the earth is expanding. But I'm kidding. But I kind of believe it, but I digress. Now, basically, I want to make sure that the sponsor of this, I guess, podcast live stream, whatever you want to call it, I want to make sure the sponsor is truly represented for you guys. So I just want to find that link, which should be right about here, because basically this live stream, this time that we have here together is all about, you speaking English with confidence, right? So let me just type this right here. Speak like, I gotta fix my computer here. So speak like a Californian in 1 week. So there we go. And got that link up there right there. And I'm going to pin it so like you guys can find it relatively easily. And then pin the message. And there we go. It is up. So guys, this is the deal. You're going to learn a little bit about like accent as you listen to this. So like you're going to get better just by listening to this live stream podcast. The key is to mimic what you hear and practice everything that you want to say kind of before you get out there and have a conversation with real people. But then you want to get out there and actually have conversations with real people. So if any of this is like confusing, right? Like if you're listening to what I'm saying and you're like, wow, 英語早くないって感じ？なんか日本語の方が分かりやすいって感じですけれども、海先輩が、英語で話しちゃうと、なんだろうって感じ？そういうなんか不安があればね、if you're listening to me speak English, well, I have a little video that you can check out, all right? Because if you are having problems with like normal English, like the English that I'm using right now, then check out that video and listen to that. It explains everything, and it explains everything so well because, we have this kind of like native English that I'm using right now. And then all the bullshit that you listen to like in all the English lessons is like this like educational English style that just doesn't really exist in reality. And that is literally the reason why you don't understand English when you go out in reality. And then you come back to YouTube and you find another lesson, and the lesson just keeps talking about the same old bullshit as before, right? It's 2025, all right? It's about time you learn the truth. And that is what this live stream is all about, to bring the truth to you guys who are learning. Now, if you already speak English and you're listening, I don't know why you would do that, but you're welcome to stay, I suppose, because this is all about getting people who are learning how to speak English, how to actually speak English. And that's it. Like, it's a really narrow street right here. So, because a lot of times people listen to me and say, well, American English is not the number one language, or they'll say something that I never said, right? And so it's just like, okay, well, first, I never said that. And so let me clarify, right? But that, depends on who I'm talking to, right? So a lot of the heat that I get from the channel, I think, is from people that just don't see the real intention of what's going on here. And I'm kind of just teaching you English. That's about it, right? But it's more than just me. This is a pen, all right? So like, ha じゃなくて her, right? It's more than just that, right? It's all about getting you to actually like use your mouth and your vocal cords to like say something, All right. And so I can really create a lot of things that will help you actually use your voice, right? And I can draw, I can paint, I can make pictures that will make it all pretty. I can make these videos, right? But it doesn't really matter unless you actually like engage with the information that I'm giving you, and that information, that data that I'm giving you is like literally encoded in sound, right? So if you are one of those English students who sits around and reads a book, I've got news for you, son. You're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to get anywhere fast, because you got to have these conversations in sound, all right? So if you listen to an audiobook, though, by all means, do it, because it's really fascinating to be able to listen to another language and actually be able to visualize what's happening, right? So as long as you're listening, that's okay. But if you're actually like trying to learn English by sitting around and reading a book, I really encourage you to just listen to what I got to say. Daddy, data, data. Like I said, there's a lot to look at, but if you're not listening, then you're totally missing the point. And if you're not actually like mimicking, then you're super missing the point. And again, all of this is just a big opportunity for you to actually implement the things that you're listening to. So, keeping everything to this kind of like general intro that we're doing right now, everybody, as long as you kind of like remember these three things, and I say three things in so many different ways, right? But as long as you do this, you're going to be fine, and you have nothing to worry about. You just have to focus on the three correct things. So, like I said, it's 2025. You should totally be speaking English by now. There's so many things to talk about. It's been a busy week for me because I'm going to be dropping the next video pretty soon. It's like 実はなんだっけ実は英語ネイティブみたいな。So 日本生まれの芸能人に関してね。It's going to be interesting. I don't want to say too much too soon because, what if like, that's another thing too. I sometimes I think like doing a collaboration with one of the other YouTubers, and it really doesn't make sense. I don't think for me really, because, I would want to do like at least a 3-hour conversation, like a deep dive. And I don't know. I just don't see that kind of like interaction right now. So it is what it is. And it could be because I'm like still in California and I'm not going to be going to Japan in the summertime. That's just kind of like a rule that there's like a few rules that I have in life. I'm not waking up before sunrise. And that's because the first time I went to Japan, I woke up at 4 a.m. every morning to save my money to go to Japan. And I really had a hard time in that waking up early phase, I'm not a morning person. And so, when I got to Japan, I just promised myself I'm never going to wake up early again. I did it. I saved my money. I made it to Japan. I lived my dream, and that's it. Never waking up early again. Not like that. And the other thing, I'm never going back to Japan in the summer. I remember the first summer that I had in Japan, and I freak out isn't the right word, but my body had never experienced humidity. Like, what is this? Like, not to the degree that Japan like produces it. Growing up, I'd been to the desert in the summertime, and that's pretty hot because it gets up to like 100 degrees, like Fahrenheit or whatever. But the Japanese summer is like, no, especially like in the city. That's just like not. So, man, today, you know what I did? I went to the cafe and I had a cup of coffee like I always do. You know what the temperature was? 22, 23, 24, 25 degrees. Especially sitting in the shade. And there's this nice fog that rolls in every single morning. And this fog literally keeps the temperature down as long as you live within, like, I'd say 5 miles of the coast. If you get further inland, it's going to get warm, it's going to get hot, and it's going to get kind of uncomfortable quick, you know? So if you live on that side of the 405, basically. So basically, yeah, from my location right here on the globe, 24, 25 degrees in the afternoon, because I don't wake up early, remember? There's nothing else on the planet worth doing, you know, like especially in a weekend, right? So for me, yeah, I'm kind of good where I'm at. You guys got to remember, カイ先輩です。カリフォルニアの生まれ育ち、まあ教育も大学もねカリフォルニアだから、カリフォルニアのなんだろうねみたいなカリフォルニア人って感じですね。And I am, for lack of a better word, content being in California for the time being. I know I want to go talk to all of you guys in person. There's a lot of things that I would like to do. There might be a few things that I need to set up, but it needs to be done with intention in a sense, you know. I just can't, because the last time I went to Japan, I was like, oh, I'm going to go there, make videos out in the street. And like I did, and it was cool, it was fun, but there was a still like, how do you say, like a off balance in the whole system. And basically that's the real kind of like core, I guess, of what's happening right now, is that I'm just trying to build this system more than anything right now, because the system is it's going to sustain my kind of future as I travel the world, you know. Well, okay, I mean, if you guys know the story or not story. So a lot of times, here's a secret for you guys. The 3 secrets right here, these 3 keys, right? They're like literally like the same secrets for anything that you want to learn. And that's what I learned when I learned how to teach. It's a long story, guys, because knowing English just isn't enough. You know, you got to like learn how to teach, and they don't teach how to teach correctly. Is anybody following this? I had to learn a lot. And in learning a lot, I learned how to teach. But in learning how to teach, I learned how to learn more about teaching. And it just really dawned on me that every single week, I literally get better at making YouTube videos and, how do you say, building these systems that allow for thousands of people, millions of people, to hear the truth, maybe for the first time. Now, some of you have heard what I've said before, so it's always like a balance of like, what do you know? What do you don't know yet? But I always have to assume that you're coming in hot, you know, you're coming in like, oh, is this what English is all about? You know, like what's going on over here? And you drop in and I'm just spitting, just like, wait, what? This is English? And it's like, yes, this is like the normal, like non-aggressive, like, hey, everybody, you know, like, you know, God, I'm trying to be real with everybody as best as possible in a low-key, chill California way. You know what I mean? So, giving you guys this like gold, for lack of a better word, you know, it requires concentration on a level that I'm not really used to. But here we are. This is literally about you guys more than anything. As a YouTuber, here I am in the middle of this kind of like cloud, if you will, and I'm trying to make sense of everything. And one of the things that I know I got to do is just like give you as much stuff to listen to as possible. Like when I was learning, I listened to a lot. And so as you guys are learning, you literally got to listen a lot, right? You'll see it in the next video too. Like I'll just say it right now. Kokomi-san, is kind of like, is she native? Is she not native, right? And if you listen to her talk, she has this kind of like slow kind of way of talking that is like, wait, what's going on here? Is she really native? But there's different brain functionings, brain farts, basically. When you're reading English, you think differently than when you're actually thinking in English and having a conversation in English. They're just totally different brain functions. So I am trying to introduce you guys to the spontaneity function. And the spontaneity function is pretty important because this is literally the little engine that just drives every single conversation with every single human being that you're ever going to have for the rest of your life. So you should pay attention to how you think. And if you can't think in English right now, like I'm doing, well, go to my video and you start with like the first kind of like step, and you gotta like follow the right? You gotta like literally right? You gotta like listen to the sounds, right? And so to listen to a lesson, if I go right? And so like, okay, so now that you've heard the sound, can you hear when I say it like in a normal sentence? When I talk about Japan, and then it's like, oh wait, okay, so that sound, I heard it, right? Okay, cool. There's a strategy to like actually learning, but it's all based on sound. You know what I mean? Like so important that you pay attention to the accent, right? So, step one is always accent. It's always you know what I mean? I just try to word these in a way that reminds me what I'm doing, right? Because even me, 先輩だからさ、第二言語に関してね、もう正当です。わかる？日本語教えてない。なんでかっていうと、わかんない。何にもわかんない。いつも聞いてますよね。それどういう意味ですかみたいな。KY って何みたいな。なんだろうね。だからこの聞かなきゃっていう気持ちわかるよね。I gotta listen, I gotta talk to people. もうわさびとるから早く会話しなきゃって感じですね。でもまあ日本語でね。But like I said, this isn't about me. Even though like, hey, I have a brain too, I have dreams too, and somewhere in the middle, right? Here we are meeting, right? And it's like, okay, my job as an educator is to bring the epiphany bridge, all right? And the epiphany bridge is when you have the same realization that I had one day, right? So that's just how Satori works, all right? And it's a long story because like, Satori 開いてからさ、いろいろなんだろうねみたいなね、面白くなったよね。本当にだって英語でも日本語でもね、悟り開いて、あらって感じですね。どうも、カイ先輩です。人間です。違うか。まあそれでいろんな人間と話して、まだなんか外国人に見えるか。あ、そっか。はい。じゃあそっちからスタートって感じですね。まあ同じようにアメリカに戻ってきて、まあ白人がいますみたいな。あ、そっか。白人が見えるか。はいはい。わかりました。じゃあ そういう役からスタートしますって感じですね。だから本当にもう悟り開いても我々同じものじゃないのって感じですね。まあ意識って感じやけどなんか割れてるよね。でもみんな同じように、有名してると思うんですよ。なんか未来の憧れっていうか未来の幸せって感じですね。いつか幸せになるんじゃないのって感じですね。でもその悟り開いて、いやこれ今で十分って感じ。逆になんか幸せより安定で、なんだろうね、その気持ちって。だからなんだろう、これやりながらそれでいいの。何をやってるか分かんない。みんななんだろう。だから俺今ライブストリームを選んでる。なんかこうやって YouTube のシステムというか動画とかなんかコースとかいっぱい、もうそれ俺の遊びって感じでやんないと意味ない。先輩やからね。でも逆に生徒たちがこうやってお話聞いてやんないとこのやってる間の瞬間って感じ、これで十分っていう気持ちがしないともう意味なくない？パッションですよね。So like you have to like literally get into like the thick of like a conversation or like a 30-minute story, 40-minute story, and you got to get lost. You literally got to have this experience that like, oh, this is what English is all about. I swear to God, if I had a conversation with a bunch of my friends and we were talking normally, I'm not sure you guys would understand it. It's really one of those things to get into a group conversation and you have to like follow the conversation. And if you don't, it's fine, but like you have to experience it. And so one of the, I've been a part of many group conversations, and the ones that are good have this kind of like nice, everybody gets their fair say, you know what I mean? And everybody stops and listens when somebody else is talking, and there's a nice balance when you actually have a good group conversation. And it's something that I would say is very tribal in a sense, or very evolutionary, I guess, because we are literally evolved to function in groups. You know what I mean? Like the societies that our ancestors built, like our grandparents, you know how it goes, right? They all communicated together and they all built stuff together, right? So here we are. What are we building? And most of us are sitting back watching TV. Literally just like in your pocket, And so it kind of gets into this like, hey guys, like, hold on, think about it. What are we doing? What are we all doing? What's the point here? And if it's not you waking up to your own life and your own dreams, then what are you doing? Like you're just watching some other story about somebody else just like doing cool things. That's got to be boring. What kind of like cool life can you live? And I've seen enough of the internet to realize there are people who you might call ugly, you might call boring, you might call stupid, but yet they're on the internet making money. So the world is so big. Why focus only on one particular piece of land? And it's not about the land, guys. It's about the people, right? I mean, I'm not focusing on Mount Fuji. You know what I mean? It's like, people, my American friends know me, as like the Japan guy, right? And it's like, yeah, if you really had questions about Japan, maybe you should ask a Japanese person. Having said that, I do know a lot, but we're not here to talk about Mount Fuji, I mean, it's pretty cool, and I know a few stories just by listening to people and whatnot. But I mean, the landscape is the landscape. But if you really want to get into like Japanese culture, well, obviously it's about the people. So you got to focus on that kind of thing, and that would imply the language? 違うか。まあだから、なんだろうね。白人、まあアメリカ人、まあ外人、なんだろうね。誰かね、まあ日本人じゃない人かなわからん。まあ違うか。まあ日本で育ってない人かなの日本の物語別に聞きたくなくないって感じわからない。So, I mean, it's like I still have the experience and I still know a lot of things, but I'm not going to talk about Japan like that. You know what I mean? That's just not what I'm here to talk about. I mean, we can talk about it together, but I'm not going to teach on that. You know what I mean? I'm not here for that. I'm here to get you to actually say something. So, but it's more than just saying something. You know what I mean? And I saw the worst. Yeah, the worst. One of the, I mean, not the worst because like it's that kind of lesson is happening all the time, but I saw the worst lesson the other day. Maybe one day I'll share it or something like that, but it's 2025, guys. When you speak English, you gotta mimic real people, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, there is no way around this. You cannot read your way to fluency. So why bother looking at all? You know, like it's almost like I should just like do the entire thing like this. You know what I mean, guys? Because it's like it gets tiring when you like the inspiration for you to find your voice. You know, like I have nothing to do with that, right? You got to find your own voice, right? And when you do, you actually gotta see. Maybe that's the thing, and maybe that's one of the things that I can possibly work on too, is that like when I hear people with a really thick katakana accent, I know it's not the student's fault. You know what I mean? It's the teacher's fault. And it's sad to see so many people waste so many years of their life, and I literally take a deep breath, you know. But like, if you're gonna speak, you do it just by like copy and pasting what you hear into your own vocal cords. You know what I mean? So like, if I talk to you like this, you're just gonna hear that you, right? But if I were to provide you with actual script that you can use for yourself, it begins this like, so basically it's like, repeat after me, okay? I'm an English speaker, all right? I got a California accent because I talk to a lot of people from California, right? I've been there, studied there, you know, like I have lots of reasons to talk with a California accent. I have lots of reasons to sound fluent, you know, like I did a lot of listening. I did a lot of listening, all right? I did a lot of listening. And the key, right, is like I can say I did a lot of listening because I did a lot of listening. You know, I watched a lot of comedy shows on TV. More, you know, when you have 6 hours a day of lessons in Japan, that's a lot of listening, you know. So I did a lot of listening, you know, and that's why I'm able to talk like this. So, you know, what do you want to talk about? I speak English. I speak English fairly well, and I want to talk to more people now, you know. I want to actually have a conversation with somebody. I mean, why else did I learn English, you know? It's because I want to actually get out there and maybe travel the world. I want to talk to people that come to my hometown. I don't know, like it's kind of fascinating to think that there's way more to this world than just Japan. You know, like Japan is a fascinating place, and I'm glad that I lived there for so long, right? Or you can say, I'm glad that I live here, right? But I want to know more. I want to see more. I want to communicate more. I want to eat more, you know? Like I want to share stories. I want to compare stories. I want to hear good stories, and I want to hear bad stories. You know, that's part of the crazy thing. You know, when I see California, I see the good weather, but I also see all the cars. There's so many cars in California. And if I can't say cars, maybe I'll go to England and talk about cars. And then if that was the case, then I'd have to switch my accent into a more British one. And I'm not able to do that sufficiently, if you know what I mean. So I'm not going to do that. But you have to mimic the atom. And you got to listen to how I say atom, because, you know, the Yanks, they don't say atom, they say atom, right? Atom also is like the first man, right? The first human. And Adam is this like mythical kind of name that, you know, everybody kind of knows if you speak English, right? Like everybody knows the first human, right? Adam and Eve. And so, you know, like talk about stories, talk about legends, you know, you got to mimic the eh. And so, yeah, it's just really about mimicking what you hear. But when you hear stories, everybody's like, you, and then you're like, you, right? So listen to somebody say, I. Like, I want to talk in English a little bit more, so I want to talk in English, all right? I want to get out there and listen to more California English. I want to listen to American English. I want to practice my listening. Do you see that? I made a mistake, and like usually native people kind of catch it when they say it, usually, right? So if anybody hears me make a mistake, you're like, oh, koi senpai. Well, you know what? If you catch my mistakes, like go ahead, make a video about it. There was one guy that reviewed my Japanese, and it's his #1 video on his channel. But it's kind of pointless, I think, to point out the mistakes that I make in Japanese, because I claim no authority other than like my goal when I was learning Japanese was to sound more like a native Japanese person, to mimic the sounds that I was hearing. And in that, I began to find like a little like wiggle room to play, you know? Kai senpai no shaberikata wa nandaro? I don't know if I'm serious sometimes. I do know if I'm serious. Like I know how to play it, just depends on who I'm talking to, you know what I mean? So, you know, like seriously, give me a little more credit for what you're experiencing on the internet out there. It's not about my Japanese. I like to say this. It's more about, you know, really getting you to mimic what you hear. So again, I could sit around and talk all day, and I need to, I think, to a certain degree, because I don't want to say this every single day, but 3 billion people need to experience what you are experiencing right now. And it doesn't need to be me. You know what I mean? I don't need to be the person that's actually like giving every single video. It could be other people too, but like in the sense that like if you want to actually learn how to learn a second language, or if you just want to learn a second language, let's just be cut to the chase here. This is it. Everything you need to know is right here. And the amazing thing is it's absolutely invisible. I mean, like, remember, guys, this is the sound that we're talking about. We're not talking about the color system that I just showed you, even though it's genius. It's still just a tool to get you guys to listen, right? And by the way, everybody on the podcast, if you're listening, hey, what's up? I was so shocked last week when I realized that I can make a podcast. I was like, oh, all I have to do is like take this literal file that I'm using for YouTube and I can just put it onto like Spotify. Yeah, let's do that. That's an easy one, you know, because again, I'm practicing. Oh, it's not about me, but just sharing with you guys on the podcast that I'm practicing how to reach 1 million people. And I've already done that. So it's like, okay, now I need to reach 1 million people as soon as possible. I mean, like, at what rate can I do it becomes the question, right? And so by me just, saying the same thing that I would have said on YouTube, hey everybody on YouTube, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, and everybody on the podcast, I've like doubled the amount of people that can actually literally listen to what I'm saying and start to mimic it and go like, oh, I get it now. I get it. I gotta listen. I get it. I just gotta mimic. I get it. It's just a joke. Like it's everything that's been taught to me up to now is just a joke. It's totally cool. But from now, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to learn. I'm going to talk to people. And instead of like looking at subtitles, I'm going to look him in the eye. I'm going to look him in the face. And I'm going to use my hands. And you don't need to be fluent in order to have a good conversation, but you need to give it all of your attention. And, if you need to like twirl your pen, because it's all about, because one of the things that I did, and I was lucky because my host mother, she worked at kindergarten. So I was able to talk to Japanese kids, and they're the best to talk to when you're learning Japanese because we're at the same level. You know what I mean? It's like, hora, mite. And they're like, sugoi, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm a pro. I know. And they like little gimmicky things like that, right? So when you're communicating with a human, it's like, oh, do I have to show a little magic? Hey, look at this, right? Or do I have to like wear some sort of cool shirt or something like that? And, my experience as a fashion model taught me all about like the looks, right? But, they started dressing us up like cowboys or like surfers, right? And it's like, so have you ever been to California? And they're like, nope. So it's like, oh, so you're mimicking the look, but you're not actually mimicking the language. Interesting. I mean, really interesting. And it makes sense because we all know Japanese culture is a manga culture, an anime culture, very visual culture, as they say, right? And as that is 100% true, it is also 100% true that everything I just said is invisible. And only the people on the podcast would understand what I just said right there. Because no matter what I say, you can't see it. And 34 minutes into this conversation, it's like, oh my gosh, you just got to like sometimes really just close your eyes and go with the flow. What do you hear? And then again, how do I mimic it? And if you don't know like the specific like pronunciations, well, that's why I have like my app and my color system. It really, like if you look at the mimic, right? Like the mimic is not a mimic, it's a mimic. There's a difference. And if you say mimic, people will hear it and it sounds weird. And the weirdness is weird, which can be okay as long as people understand it, right? So you just got to remember, 君が英語を言い直すか、俺が耳を聞き直すか、君のカタカナ英語を聞き直すか、ね、どっちか。だってカタカナ英語通じないから、俺が聞き直さないと。あエスカレーター？What? Oh, escalator. Got it. Okay. That was interesting. There's like a lot of like words like that. You're like, oh, スタジアムか。はい。どういう話？ Oh, stadium. Oh, みたいな。そういうなんかミスコミュニケーションが多いんですよ。I swear, like, and this was like last year, so 2024 or whatever, but I was in Tokyo or 2023, whatever. And this Australian was just having like a hard time at Starbucks. Couldn't get the milk right. And admittedly, like she was hard to understand because Australians are kind of hard to understand. Oh, that was horrible, but you know what I mean. Mite, Vegemite, milk. Get them almond milk in there, mate. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, they were having like miscommunication in English, and it's just like, dude, this is coffee. Like, how do you mess that up? You know? But like I said, everything is invisible. There is no subtitles that pop up on like the coffee cup or like is this almond milk or like whole milk, right? Like you gotta like listen, you gotta pay attention, and you gotta really hear that we all got accents, right? So if you want to join the club, you got to pick one of the accents, you know, British, Southern Hemisphere, Australian, New Zealand, whatever. Just pick one and then mimic one. That's it. And like I say, like if you guys like the California one, here we are. Take it, use it. It's yours, man. Like, welcome to California. Like literally, like California is pretty much kind of like this one of the centers of like community, I suppose, just because of like the way that tech and Silicon Valley have kind of like conquered the world. And you know, you're all on your iPhones right now, right? So the California kind of aspect of English is there is an influence, you know, there is a presence, there is a force, right? Doesn't mean it's number one, but it is useful, it is convenient. And in California, I think there is a real understanding that, well, one, I would say as a Californian, immigrants are totally welcome, right? Like, 俺の、親じゃない、お父さんね、キャリフォルニア生まれじゃない。他の州から引っ越してきた。immigration ね。だからまあ、カリフォルニアって、まあ、そういうところなの。みんな違うところから来たって感じですね。ほとんどの人間がね。and that's okay. And the other thing too is that like, if you hear somebody talk in a California accent, you just think they're Californian. Like nobody, I mean, man, so, okay. People are good. So if they're like, okay, you got like a pretty normal, normal quote. You're in California, you're talking with a California accent. People just go with the flow. They just like nod and whatever. If they do get to know you and then they do hear that you have an accent, they might casually say, oh, by the way, where are you from? If you have an accent. And they might say, oh, I noticed you have an accent. So, which is fine. There's no like right and wrong in that. But basically, it's like if they notice, well, does your English have an accent? I don't know. It's something that, you know, we can possibly talk about. And by the way, I haven't really looked at the chat thing, so sorry about that, but I'm just going to tune into it now. Say, Ao-san, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa ka. I think that's my line. Anyway, konnichiwa. Yeah, there, I said it correctly. Mario, I think I've seen that name before. Kai senpai wa kokuji no eigo o hanasu koto dekiru no. I mean, I can do like a few songs, you know, like just as like, because I can mimic it, you know. Well, and then there's certain words I can't say too, because of our very specific history. I mean, can't and don't want to per se, you know, as it's like, it's so like, there's just certain things that I can't do because it just looks pretty bad, basically. And like, for sure. But like to a certain extent, yes, I can mimic some rap songs, but like I can't totally talk like, well, like you said, like African American Black English, because I can't. I mean, it sounds like I'm mimicking it or something, and if you play it the wrong way, people will think, "Oh, are you insulting me?" Right? So you have to read. It's like I can't even, can I speak like a Japanese person? So it's like, oh, you're making fun of them, right? So it's like, no, I mimicked them. So yes, I can mimic them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna. One, I'm not good at it. And two, there's no reason for me to really do it, other than a quick little, all right, mate, I can do a British one. And, a British one is not quite offensive, especially if you go for the Queen's English. As they say, there's punching up and punching down. And like to make sure that, and I think, that's like one of the reasons why, there's like bad feedback on, or bad feedback, but like, okay, senpai is being negative to other people's English. And it's like, okay, so yeah, there's that like, I'm reviewing and that sounds like this and it sounds like this. And there's kind of like a little performance when I'm doing a video, right? But anybody can mimic anything, all right? It's really totally doable. But when I started to dial in my Japanese, it's like you have to pick something, you can't just keep studying every single way to speak out there, you know what I mean? Because like, well, what about Black English? What about Southern English? What about there's like Mexican American English, you know what I mean? Like they have an accent for sure. And so it's just like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? It'll never end. You could like learn every single one if you wanted to, And so somewhere along the way, I just was like getting overwhelmed by all the varieties of Japanese. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on one. And that's going to be this Kansai Ben. 舞鶴弁があればね。But like I couldn't really tell the difference because I'm a beginner, you know what I mean? So it's like for any beginner, it's like, oh, what about British? What about American? What about Black English? It's like, yes, 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 and yes. But if you're going to do it, so it's like mimic it, but if you're going to do it, you have to basically own it, And so the only way anything really gets justified when somebody accuses you of like, oh, you like making fun of people. It's like, look, I spent a lot of time with a lot of people. I've talked to thousands of Japanese people. Thousands, right? But at the same time, I've probably only talked to dozens of like, let's just say Nigerians, right? So when I speak about Japanese English or Japanese culture, there is a certain kind of like experience factor that I have. So I can kind of say things a little more openly and like straight, like get to the point. But there's a lot of things around this world that I just don't know enough about to even get close to having an expert opinion. So it's not good for me to talk about things that are out of my lane. Mario, this is a good question though, by the way. Like this is really good because it's like there are a lot of different accents out there. And yes, I can do some, but you're definitely not going to hear me do it on this live stream, not in this context. So, because like I said, I don't do it. It's weird. Like when I lived in Hollywood too, like, because Orange County is different, but like, because, okay, that's the other thing, right? Like if you guys don't know about America, it is absolutely segregated. So, I mean, not absolutely, but there's definitely different neighborhoods where different types of people live depending on the neighborhood, right? So Orange County is just famously known not to have like a lot of Black African Americans living here in Orange County, right? But, you know, you go to LA, way different mixes, right? And so generally speaking, right, like you just don't hear that. Well, Long Beach is different. Long Beach is like way more diverse and way more going on. So anyway, no matter who I talk to, I have my California accent, you know, like, and depending on how much I just want to chill is like how like steep my accent gets, you know, or, you know, like how much I get like conscious of it as you guys bring it up or whatever, right? But yeah, no matter who I talk to, I have one accent for the most part, right? And even if I hear people from other countries or people from around the United States, there's like, oh, I could mimic that too. You know what I mean? Because I'm from Boston, you know, like, but there's also things that's just like I can't do unless the circumstances change, you know? So anyway, Mario, I hope that was a nice long-winded answer to your simple question, but it's like, I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Bass and I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I don't remember the next line, but anyway, like, if I can jump into it and get into it, yeah, I can do it. But like that Rob Bass, you guys know Rob Bass? I mean, a little beyond before your times. I don't know. But anyway, so moving on, I do appreciate like you guys tuning in and participating to the chat. And if you have questions, by all means, go ahead and ask, because I'm not paying attention really. And I have sent the Zoom to everybody on the email list. So I just checked Zoom right now. So I don't know if anybody joined or not. But anyway, I'll just put it there. So yeah, so guys, I don't know if you know the system by now or not, but like it's basically kind of this like little thing, because it's like if you guys wanted to learn more about like the California accents, I definitely want you to go check out that video over there, because like I said, it explains everything a lot more better than I could explain it to you right now. But there's basically the 3 steps, and if you go over there and watch the video, it explains everything. And like within a week, you're going to be able to sound more like a Californian, you know, because and this is a good one to look at, because it's like, well, what are you going to learn, right? Well, you're only going to learn, like, not only, but you're going to learn all the sounds, right? But you're also going to learn that you only need to focus on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the most. But like theあいうえおの母音がね、5つしかないよね。アメリカ英語って、13個もあるよね。まあ、多いじゃん。But really, like, of all the ones that, like, of all the sounds that, like, American English uses, there's just 3. And I. Is number 1, right? Like the, love, above, right? Like understand, flamingo, umbrella, right? That sound is going to pop off like more than any other sound. So learn right there. It's pink. And I just showed it. Like, and I told you right now for free. My God, if you just learn that one sound, you totally like, duh, you sound like an American. You sound like a Californian. Like, duh, like one word, duh. You want to sound like a Californian, just say duh. And if you can mimic it, you know, hit that like intonation, duh, you're going to be a pro. If you say that to any foreigner, for lack of a better word, English speaker, right? And they say something like, they try to like explain something to you that's obvious, right? In America, we eat hamburgers. And you just say, duh. Right? You're going to be a pro if you say that one sound right there. So anyway, the sounds is one thing. You might only need one sound, right? Other beginners, they might need to learn all of them, whatever. They're all here, right? When you become a subscriber to my little course, which by the way, you get a free week trial to listen to all of this, right? It's called California Glamour, and it got the 省略パターンね. This one's like the cool one because, like, obviously having a conversation is the whole point of learning English. 違うか? So learning how to ask questions is kind of like a good skill set, right? Well, there's only 6 kind of like question patterns that you gotta have. It's what ya, right? When ya, where ya, what ya, wanna, and then gotta, right? But like if you just learn these little 6 patterns right there, oh, I forgot would ya, 6 patterns right there, then you can really talk about anything, you know, like what are you listening to, right? 100% California English, right? So what are you listening to? What are you listening to, right? The 2 keys right there. We can talk about the future, right? So what are you going to study? What are you going to mimic? What are you going to listen to? When are you going to go to America, right? If you go to the when, right? There's so many patterns. It's like I'm trying to like explain everything, but there's 36 patterns, okay? If you learn these patterns, if you learn one pattern in this week, right? Remember, you get a free trial if you become a member to the system, right? And so in the week, you're going to learn all these patterns right there. And then from there, once your accent is really kicking, then we start to have stories. So what do, right? Where'd you go to school? And then we have to start crafting our stories. Like, so what do you want to explain? What do you want to show me, right? What do you want to talk about, right? What do you make? What do you talk about? What do you create? Where do you work, right? Like, what are the stories that we're going to talk about? And that's kind of like where we are right now. So it's like you'll go through in the membership, you'll learn the sounds if you need to, you'll learn the patterns if you need to, and every single week here on this live stream, I throw out the Zoom thing and then put out the questions and go, hey, does anybody got any questions? Because like this is it. And if you want to like learn, you just go to my my site and log in and like, and then we get things going, right? It's as simple as that. Now, if you need somebody to talk to, that's a whole other story, isn't it? Right? Like there's this sense of like, well, there is the course, right? There's the things that you want to learn. So you have like you listen to sounds and the words and vocabulary, right? So how do you make a friend? Right? It's not an English question, is it? That's like, まあ日本でもね、どうやって友達作るの？東京に引っ越して、誰も知らなくて、ね。どこからスタートすんのって感じね。で、俺何にも分かんなくて、まあ下北沢、まあ友達が下北に住んでて、ね、友達の情報を聞いたからね、まあ、下北なんかロックの近所だよみたいな言われて、マジ？で自分で行ってみたら、いいね。だって、まあ、ギター持っていかないとね、駅から降りないから、なんていう、教科もらえないからね。なんかギター持っていかないとね。違うか。まあ、ほんとそんな感じだったんじゃない？カラオケ館みたいな、いっぱいあるし、まあ、古着屋みたいな、なんかそういうロック系のファッションが多いし、みたいなね。じゃあ、そっからスタートだよね、俺は。で、まあ、俺ギター弾けるからね。なんか趣味があるからね。そっからスタートして、もういろんな人と出会いできましたって感じですね。本当に。It's just amazing. Like when you just pick a place and you just start, you know? And yeah, if you guys don't have a place yet, you need to find a place to go out there and actually meet people, you know? So that's not an English question, you know? It's like, here we are, you have the internet, it's 2025, and you're using the internet to learn English? ちょっとおかしくない? I mean, for like, humans have been like humans for like 100,000 years, 200,000 years, or 300,000 years, something like that. Language didn't get written down for only like 4,000 years ago or something like that. Like everything that we're doing to learn a language is just wrong. It's 2025, guys. We never learned on the internet. I didn't learn on the internet. Who learns on the internet? And now you want to like get like a AI app? Like, how bad do you want to like avoid humans? Seriously. Hey, it's Wasabi-kun. Hey, Wasabi-kun. What's up? You have like a crown. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. I'm going to click. It says you're a top fan. Wow, thank you so much. How did that happen? How did I get a fan? It's funny because like I see, people on the live stream, and I'm pretty sure you're not all bots, like over the last month, over 2,000, I think, 2,000 of you have seen the live stream. So, hey, what's up? I haven't checked the numbers on the podcast. That'll be interesting. It was saying like if you upload 4 podcasts in the next month, something will happen. And so, yeah, I'm not even counting podcasts right now, but if that pops off, that could be like another, I don't know, whatever, 1,000, 10,000 people that start listening, whatever. So welcome. I appreciate your time. Because people coming into the live stream in the middle of it, so it's, there's always this like, hey, welcome to the room kind of feeling, right? But Wasabi-kun says, hey, and it says he's a fan. So I don't understand the process. Again, for anybody on the podcast, you're listening to this later, there is a live chat on YouTube. So if you want to experience this conversation live, well then go to my YouTube. I'm most likely going to have the live stream every Sunday at 11 a.m. until I tell you otherwise. But yeah, if you want to like come on and like actually interact, then by all means come chat, or you can join the Zoom. But the Zoom is only available to anybody that joins the membership. And look, guys, I've had my course for many, many years now, and there's over 1,000 people that have gotten my course. And so I have pretty much set it up so that like if you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you just got to listen to the course. I mean, it's all, day number 1, day number 2, you just listen, you know what I mean? Like, just 順番に聞いてくださいって感じ。何か質問があればね。But like, it's really, because it's like, how do you use it, right? 聞いて真似してください, right? So you listen to it, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to study, right? When are you going to get it? So, okay, when are you going to get it, right? So, when right? So just, all you got to do is figure that out. Like, when okay. So when So when are you gonna, right? So going to becomes gonna. And then you just listen and you mimic, and you're like, when are you gonna get it? And then once you start mimicking, then you start using it with people. Now you're really accelerating your growth, because as you talk to the new person, you can mimic what they say, right? And so that's why I say 1000人より1000人だよね。カイ先輩より100人、1000人と話しに出てくださいって感じですね。ネットじゃなくて、こうやってYouTube じゃなくて、Zoom じゃなくてさ、現実で誰かとお話ししてください。本当にもう現実ってなんだっけみたいな気持ちになってったらね、やばいよ。だってこれからもっとひどくなると思うんですね。会先輩でもね、パソコン使いますよね。携帯持ってるし、テレビも一応持ってますね。で、画面が携帯、パソコンみたいなね、テレビみたいなね、テックだらけのプレイステーション、iPhone、iPad みたいな次元ですね。多くないみたいな。どうしよう。でも、5年後、10年後ってどんテックの次元ってやばいよ。 3D の、アバターみたいなね、なんか、海先輩のアニメとか、なんだろうね、わからん。怖い。海先輩のチャットボットみたいなな。まあでも AI が俺を真似できるかな。わかんない。いや、それ面白くないよね。だから、こうやってわざと、こうやって人間フォームでいらっしゃってますね。違うか。でも本当にね、まあ山から、降りて、こうやって人間フォームにね、変化して、こうやってみんなとおしゃべりしたかったのね。で、こうセミナー終わってから山登って雲に戻りますよ。雲って現実ね。なんだろうね、こうネットにいる間に、これは現実じゃないよね。これはもうデジタルみたいな次元ですね。でもここにいたくない。立ちたくない。ここで喋りたくない、実は。ね。でもすごく便利だからね。こうやってテック使ってますね。でも俺はね、だから、なんだろう。こうやってネットで教えてもね、早く現実に出て誰かと話してくださいしか言わないよ。レッスン、プライベートレッスンでもね、同じこと言うからさ。だから早くネットから降りて、現実に戻りましょう。違うか。まあわかんないけど、there obviously, as I have talked to you guys, there are definitely limitations to being able just to go out and have a conversation, especially if you have to talk in Japanese all day for work, which I understand. It's amazing because when I lived in Tokyo, I didn't speak English all day. I could if I wanted to, just because I know I have friends in English that I can call if I wanted to, but I was perfectly happy speaking Japanese all day. So hopefully you guys have the same sort of like passion for actually using English, but not just listening to this long ass story, not just like watching a video. We're talking you getting out there, having a conversation. So why don't we do this? Because like I am definitely personally just kind of like keeping things low key right now. I don't know if you guys know how to do YouTube or not, but basically I know how to make a video more or less, you know what I mean? I kind of know what I'm doing. I kind of know what I've been doing. I kind of know what I've been doing for like a few years now, but like recently I like really kind of understood what I was doing, and I realized that even if like another 1 million people, 10 million people watch my videos, which they will, they're going to want to learn more, you know? There's no other reason to watch my videos other than like, hey, I want to learn more. I want to talk more. I want to work on my California English. And so this is the dedication that I have, is that, look, at least once a week, I can come here, answer any questions that you guys got, and talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. Now, hopefully, as this matures, as more and more people start watching because Spotify starts recommending it and the other video hits, because remember, I kind of know what I'm doing. And if you guys make YouTube, let me tell you, get a click-through rate of like above 7, and then get a average view duration above 6. All right? That's it. It's math. It really is. And like the headlines, like 一番うまいのは誰みたいなね。それとも英語ネイティブですかみたいなね。それも数学ですね。みんな何をクリックしてるかわかるね。 英語うまいかうまくないかって感じですね。まあそっち系のね、ヘッドラインみんな好きなのね。So that I keep using it because you guys keep clicking it. I mean, it's simple, right? Math. And so all of these people will be like, hey, what do you mean California English? What do you mean American English, right? And so, yeah, if you want to learn more, you got to click that link, It's just listen to that. It explains everything. But the idea is that now that you've heard the basics, because you've heard me for so long, well, now what do we talk about? And that's what this live stream is ultimately going to be. Something where everybody can come in with their questions or whatever, and we can chat. And then hopefully what it would be is more something like the first part, I just kind of go blah, blah, blah. Welcome, everybody. Nice to meet you. And I'll just make sure that everybody knows, got to mimic, right? Okay. California accent, check. Got it. All right. Cool. All right. Now, what do we talk about? What's going on? What's up? Questions? News? Because, there's so many things. And I've already been making a list of all the things that we're going to be talking about here in the future. And I realize that there's going to be some of you that just really want to listen to what I'm saying, which is great, and I appreciate it. There's going to be others of you that will actually realize the value of being able to come on here and being able to Zoom with me. So, and again, the Zoom invitation is only sent by email, and I do it as the guarantee for my membership because it's like, hey, guys, if you have any questions, just ask, because literally you get the membership, you listen to my course, and you just mimic it. If you want to sound more like a Californian, right? That's it. That's the promise. It's a free week trial. And if you have questions, ask. Now, those people are going to have a little bit different, like a little bit of a different agenda than maybe you guys who are not members, right? But if you're not members and you just want to listen and you can kind of put two and two together and kind of get out there and talk to people and work on accent and do what I say and make flashcards and use my app to look up words that you don't know. I don't know if you're actually paying attention to what I'm saying or not. You can actually get out there and do this by yourself. You don't need me to literally do anything once you get how to learn, right? And so there's that's why I don't want to be a teacher, because it's I'm not the person that's actually going to be teaching you. You know what I mean? It's the people that you talk to, your future, all right? Your future success. Listen to this. Pull out the magic pen. I think I just realized this. Your future success depends on the next 1,000 people you talk to. So, hurry up. Get to it. 1,000 people, there's no way I can do that tomorrow. Yeah, well, what do you do in the next 10 years? 10 years? You don't think you can talk to 1,000 people in 10 years? I think you can. And you talk to way more people than you realize too, So you just have to get out there. You really have to. And even if it's just once a week, where you purposely go to a cafe or a park or, I don't know, just an area where there's a lot of English speakers, you're going to gradually meet more. And as you meet more, they might introduce you to somebody else. You know what I mean? And then you can practice more. Tell your story. Share your creations. So many ways to actually use it when you talk to people. So get out there and tell me how it goes, I know a lot of you go out there and talk, because I see videos of other people doing it and they're all proud. They're ooh, I made a foreign friend. It's cool. But tell me more, what's going on? If you have those kind of stories, I'd like to hear more of those kind of success stories. And I don't get a lot of them on film, to be honest, because I don't know. And I just, you see something happening in front of your face, and it's kind of there's a weird awe, right? It's just happening and I can't record it because that would ruin the moment kind of thing. So I've seen it numerous times, multiple people finally start getting the accent, and they finally start like paying attention to like how they talk, and then they're like, whoa, hold on. And you know, honestly, like in a weird kind of like ironic way, if you like just talk slow but with like a California accent, then you can manage it. You sound normal, you know. You don't got to talk fast. You can just talk at your own pace, you know. Talk at your own pace. Talk at your own pace. I want to talk at my own pace, right? So there's so many different ways to do it. You just have to be able to play with your own voice and like talk. And this is like why I'm wearing the earphones, right? Just to make sure that my voice doesn't sound too weak or lame. It's not like I'm reading a script, and it's not like anybody's telling me what to do. In fact, nobody's telling me what to do other than like just general society pressure of normal things that everybody else, you know what I mean? Like nobody's like telling me that I should be talking about this video or that video, or I'm just trying to like find what's interesting for a lot of people. And when you see a lot of people think these celebrities are interesting, it's like, well, let's talk about it then. I mean, it's fine by me. Kind of get the conversation rolling, you know what I mean? When you have something to really I don't know, like compare yourself to, I guess, right? So yeah, it's totally cool. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I used to be, when I was living in Tokyo, like a model and an actor and stuff. So I was like interested in all this from the beginning, right? But long story short, I had to figure out a different way, you know? And if there's no director who's going to call me and like cast me in his movie or his commercial, which was how I was making money back in the past, it's like, well, then I'm going to have to cast myself. I'm going to have to like make my own content. Now, if I'm going to make content, I want to make something that's actually useful. That's like number one. But two, I want to say less painful for me, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because for you, the advice is going to change depending on who you are and how many of you there are, right? But there is going to be a fundamental core piece of advice that I'm just going to repeat over and over and over and over and over until you hear it. And once you get it, once you start mimicking, once you start to change your voice, you know, like transmute and evolve, then you're going to sound just like me, like it or not. But I sound just like every other Californian, not every, but a lot of Californians, right? So you're going to sound cool. Trust me, which is cool, which means everybody wins, which means like get to it, you know? Like there's literally only so much I can say. So more than anything, and especially with more podcasts that keep getting released, there's gonna be this sense of like, okay, Kai 先輩、同じこと言ってますよね。はいはいはい、アクセントだよね。はいはいはい、モノマネだよね。はいはいはい、じゃあフラッシュカード作ってくださいね。みたいな。はいはいはい、もう分かっとる。じゃあやって。You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to listen to this anymore. And I don't want to have to keep talking about it. Then we can get into like the normal conversations. And so I do see like another thing on the podcast that we can talk about news a little bit, not a lot, but if we have to, because, you know, and like I said, we can talk about more stories and stuff later. And because it's like, at any given time, who am I dealing with? Oh, we're a beginner. Okay, let's talk about this. Oh, wait, you're learning. Okay, like let's practice with this. Oh, you really want to have a conversation. Okay, well, what kind of story are we going to talk about? And so helping, you describe your business or something, or like, I don't know, you want to call it business English, you can call it business English, but like, how do I do digital marketing in English? Oh, that's a good question, right? How do I don't know, ask a girl on a date? Oh, okay, that's a good question too. So there's so many different stories. Well, how do you feel about like President Trump, right? Anything like that, right? And so it's just like, okay, we can have conversations literally about anything that you want to talk about, but all of that is with this kind of like educational kind of like pretext that like when you listen to anything that I say, just like focus on the sound and mimic like the stuff that's good. You know what I mean? Like that was good. That was a good point. I'm going to use that. I remember I was at a Starbucks in Kyoto and I was waiting for the bathroom, and like the Starbucks person like was cleaning it or something, and they came out or something, and I was like, コーヒーを返します. And like the guy behind me just started laughing, and he said, それ使います。いいですか？使っていいですか？みたいなね。は？って、いや、コーヒー返しますって。どうぞ使って。Like, use it. You know what I mean? That was a good one, right? But like, that was a Japanese one. So yeah, you guys can use that if you want. But like, yeah, I got to return the coffee. Or, you go to the cafe, like, because they'll be like, what's the bathroom code, right? But you'd be like, hey, where do I return the coffee? What? Like, it's having fun is always a good thing to do when you're speaking English, all right? Just saying that you can mix it up and like say funny things every once in a while. It's totally cool. And if you just kind of haven't you ever heard a joke on the internet and like tried to tell your friend as if you told the joke? やんないの？絶対みんなやると思うけどね。Like most people, I'd say normal people, hear a joke from the internet and they're like, yeah, I made it. Or, like, I don't know. But like my one friend, he was all, you read my mind, you blew my mind. What's with all the colors? And I was like, that is genius. Did you make that up? Like, yeah, I forget I think he said he made it up. I hope he did, because it's so good. Like, that's what I appreciate. Like, taking the English language and making something new, Like, that is kind of cool. And if I could, like, literally, I don't know, make something cool, I would, But, like, the coolest thing that I could think of was making this book. Now, this book isn't bad, by the way. This is, like, an older version. You can kind of see. But the pictures are the same, though. But, like, you can see how, like, the learning the color is, like, this, like, step-by-step kind of thing, right? But you learn the pronunciation. Anyway, there's a lot of things that I can make. And there's a lot of things that I can do. And there's a lot of things I can talk about. But it's all about you actually using your voice and getting out there and doing something. So it kind of feels like every time I do this, there's this like, hurry up and end the live stream, because you guys got to get out there and actually do something. You know what I mean? Like, you actually have to get out there and talk to somebody. I don't. I got to like go to bed. It's nighttime. Well, I'm going to watch the science fiction show. I like science fiction. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do, because it's nighttime. But you guys, it's like Sunday in the middle of the day. Hopefully it's not too hot, but you got to get out there and actually do something that's going to improve your accent, right? Now, if you get bored and you're like, oh, I'm not ready to go outside and talk to people, well, then you can like become a member to my little thing if you want. But if you really want to get started with that process, then check out my 3-step video. All right. But until next time, I hope that you guys literally get outside, go to a cafe, go to a park, have a nice conversation with somebody. All right. Talk about your dreams. Talk about what you do. Talk about where you want to move to. Talk about where you want to live. Talk about sustainable living. Like I kind of like think about getting a house, like kind of like a farm, not too isolated, not too farmy. I kind of see like a mountain, but I also see an ocean. I've seen this kind of landscape in Vietnam. I've seen this landscape in Japan. I've seen this landscape in Canada. I've seen this landscape in America. There's lots of beautiful places to go. I heard a whale in Canada. It was breathing. It could have been a dolphin, but it was like a bigger, like... So I think it was a whale, But like, how do you describe it unless you've ever heard it? You know what I mean? Unless you've been there, right? So there's so many things to do, but I hope you get outside somewhere and actually listen. It was funny, but when I was living in San Francisco, there was this Japanese dude, student at the art school. I think he went to the art school. And he's like, I don't understand how anybody walks around the town with headphones. And I think I get it. Because, like, San Francisco, especially before the iPhone, was a very visceral 3D place. A lot happening in San Francisco. And you really just have to be paying attention, taking it all in, but like distracting from the moment and just listen to music. Yeah, it just seemed weird. And it was him saying it though, because I'm from California, but to listen to like him kind of like experiencing it for the first time, he's like, no, I don't want to listen to music. I want to listen to California, San Francisco, the city, the people. There's so much going on. And so getting different viewpoints from different people. It's weird. I did talk to a kid. I think he was like in his 20s, but he was trying to sell me a sticker for his rap album. And I was like, dude, you need to start a YouTube channel. He's like, what? Like, yeah, if you get like a average view duration of like 6 or something, like the algorithm would recommend you, like if you have enough bravery to do this, walk around outside, you have enough bravery to film it. He's like, you're right, bet. No, it's like, okay, yeah, I know, do it. But it's just weird that like you just put yourself outside and you have access to so many different conversations. And who knows what kind of conversation you're going to have, but at least you're preparing yourself and getting ready to have that conversation, right? So anyway, my hope is that you guys do your homework, I am not worried about having a conversation. So, I'm going to worry about what I worry about, which is kind of YouTube, which is the average view duration is we're just talking about. But so this week I'm going to be finishing up the next video. And that video, well, I think the way YouTube works is that any video all of a sudden can change everything. So, but after building so many videos for so long, once the one video really does kind of take off, then all of them take off in this weird way. So things are going to change when things get crowded around here. So again, if you guys are paying attention to these mumbles and these rumbles at this early stage of everything, thank you. Because in the future, it's going to get way different as more people come. Hopefully some collaborations, hopefully some sort of like interview kind of things. Hopefully we can even like watch some news stories together. Hopefully more Zoom kind of things as we keep going. But it's going to just get better and better and better as we keep going. And anything that you need to review, you review in the membership, right? So you watch the video. If you want to join my course, then you get the membership. It's a free 1-week trial. I'll email you courses on day 1, day 3, day 5, and I think day 6. And I have all these different things about the accent, the color for free. In 1 week, you give it a shot, right? And then if you want to keep going, you get a 3-month pass, a 6-month pass, or a year pass. And you just dedicate yourself to this one thing. And that's like having conversations in the American California accent. That's it. You just do it until you get it. And I say talk to 1,000 people, but maybe you're going to finally get it on the 11th conversation or the 12th conversation. Like, honestly, the 2018, when I was like working on the YouTube channel, it's no different than when I was working on Japanese, because every day I dedicated myself to Japanese, and then one day I was like, oh, 喋れるようになった。いつの間にかって感じで、同じように YouTube の動画いっぱい作ってて、まあいつか何かがバズるじゃないと思って、でもとりあえずこれ楽しいからまあやってますみたいなね。でいつの間にかなんかバズっちゃったね。で、まあバズってから同じことをやってったのね。何にも変わんなかったのね。だからその3ステップの間にいれば絶対まあ集中すればね、進化するよ。バイリンガルになりますよ。いつの間にかって感じですね。だから6ヶ月、1年、なんだろうね。それはまあ君によるよね。動力って感じ。まあ、1000人と話しましたかって感じですね。まだですか？じゃあその1000人と話してくださいって感じですね。だからやんないといけないことはいっぱいあるよ。でも1年もうまあ喋れるようになると思うよ。1000人と話せばね。まあ結局何でもね、1000人と話さないと意味なくないって感じですね。まあでもそれは別の話やからさ。いや、英語を読みたいっていう。字幕読みたいっていう目標。それ小説読みたい。それだけかみたいな。まあそれだけだったらそれでいいんだけど、喋れるようになりたいって、じゃあ何なんか動画を聞きたいか、それとも誰かと会話したいか、どっちやって感じですね。両方でもいいんだけど、こうやって英語喋りたいっていう目標があれば、じゃあこれじゃん。これしかないじゃん。カイ先輩の3ステップ学習法って。ね。So anyway,If you guys are committed to it, then I'll see you next week, all right? You're going to learn so much in this week. You'll be like, oh, Kai Senpai, I have so many stories. It's like, good. And, you know, stories are like stories in reality, stories on the internet. It's fine. As long as you're learning, as long as you're talking about it, speaking in English, then everything's cool. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're progressing, as long as you're like inputting and outputting, but when you output, it's all about mimicking. So, on that note, I think I'm going to do one of these kind of like the voice. I'm going to call it something, but basically, when I saw this horrible lesson and this girl, and she's innocent, all right? She doesn't know it's the teacher's fault, but she's like telling her story. She's like, I like katto, みたいなね。She's never heard anybody say, I like cats. You know what I mean? Like, you have to like mimic somebody in order to know what to say, right? So, bypassing the human, just reading a book and then, not even paying attention to the fucking pronunciation is like a disaster recipe. And they're like making a video, like they're bragging about their lesson, like, oh, join the lesson. This is exactly why. I'll show you the lesson soon, all right? There's so much to talk about, guys. But like I said, there's so many wrong things you could be doing. And it's all the teacher's fault. It's all the school's fault. It's all corporate fucking and I get it though, because, as like a business, you want the lifetime subscriber, right? But there's just certain businesses that I don't think really, honestly, my whole ethos is that you should be graduating no more than 6 months. If you take it easy, a year at the most, right? Jesus, it's like, if you know what to do, you don't need a school. Oh boy, if the school's only, nobody wants to work with me. If I'm just gonna be like, everybody needs to graduate now, get outside. There's so many people that could be having so many different life experiences, so I hate to say it like what I was just thinking. So let me just lend you my voice, all right? Just listen and mimic, all right? Because I'm going to have a good week. I'm going to have a lot of conversations. I'm going to have a lot of good conversations. I'm going to meet somebody new and exciting. I want to meet somebody interesting. I want to meet somebody that listens to me. I want to talk about interesting things. I want to talk about making something new. I want to talk about YouTube, to be honest. I mean, for work, that's all I think about. And then even when I take a break from working, I watch YouTube, Everybody I look up to is on YouTube in a weird way. Not everybody, but a lot of people that I listen to, they're on YouTube. But I have a lot of good friends too, and I listen to them as well. I have a really good friend, and we talk a lot. We have coffee, we smoke cigars, we chat about life, we chat about business. There's a lot of good conversations. I'm going to have another good conversation, that's for sure. But I'm going to have a new conversation. I'm going to meet somebody new. I'm going to meet somebody interesting. I met a lot of people last week. They thought I was interesting. But I want to meet somebody interesting. I want to meet somebody that's really unique. I want to meet somebody that's really doing something powerful. I want to meet a successful person. I want to meet somebody who's really just powerfully living life to the fullest. I want to meet somebody that travels. I want to meet somebody that has a good business, like a good mission in life. I want to meet somebody that cares for the world. And I want to meet somebody that has a lot of compassion for different humans from around the planet. So these are simple things that I want. But that's what I want to do. That's what I want to experience, I want to share my story, of course, but I want to listen to a lot of people. I want to learn. I want to hear good stories. I want to hear exciting stories. I want to hear people struggling, but in a good way, because there's so many bad stories out there, but I want to focus on the good stories, because I want to have a better life. I want to have a fun life. And I want to have a conversation with somebody who's even more funny than I am. That would be amazing, right? Imagine that. Somebody more funny than me? Chingao ka. Tell me more. Now, again, these general things that I'm saying, you can switch it however you want. It's like, oh, I want to get a job. If you want to get a job, fine, get a job. Or I want to get a job where I can speak English. Okay, like, I don't know what you want to use English for. Why would you want to get a job? But anyway, that's what you want to do, then do it. Like, there's so many different ways to use the language. And what are we going to say? Like, who was I talking to? But they were talking about Chat GPT and helping with their resume. And I go, oh, that's what you talk about, huh? Okay. I talk about the universe and gravity and the speed of light, but okay. Resume, got it. I mean, everybody's got their own subjects they want to talk about, right? So, but what do you want to talk about in English? There's an entire world out there, people with so many different stories. I mean, what do you got going on? You know what I mean? Like, what do you got going on that's so, like, important? What do you got going on that's, like, worth sharing? Oh, by the way, talk about, like, worth sharing before you guys go. Right over here. And by the way, I am kind of working on trying not to say and stuff like that, but I don't know if it's working or not. Where did it go? I had it. Why was I going to show you something? I think that's a really good sign, is that, like, I get to a certain point and I'll be like, no, I lost the plot, because there's only, the book. I was going to show you the book. It's so stupid. Anyway, yeah, so the book, I have the free book. If you want the book, you go to my website and you can get a free copy of the book. The book is, like, cool. And again, it's like sharing stuff, right? And it's like, I can make more stuff if you want to check it out. But like I say, like, for me, making the podcast or something, or making the video is, like, my focus right now. So, but I also make a book, and, like, I also wrote a novel. You can check that out too. But is anybody really listening? I heard says that I heard that Japan has become the most popular overseas travel destination in 8 U.S. states. I can't imagine the 8 states. I know that California people and, like, Oregon people and Hawaiian people and, like, Washington people, Seattle people, they go to California really often, like, all the time, right? But, like, the other states, I mean, I remember New York, maybe Florida, but, like, 8 different states. Huh. Yeah, so that's a really interesting topic, Aho-san, because I could make a channel about Japan. I could, because I'm like, oh my God, there's people, like, making stuff that, like, I realized 20 years ago, I'm like, I just never made, like, a video or something. So it's like, okay, whatever. So there's, like, Americans and Europeans, and they're making, come to the Japanese countryside, like, Akiaが多いよね。俺のインスタ。この岐阜県の300万円のね。So it's like, okay, maybe I could do that, right? But I think that when it comes to, and guys, I'm really being serious. The people that should be talking about Japan are you. You guys should be talking about Japan. You guys should be telling me stories. You guys should be telling me where to go, And then I get on, like, Instagram and I see some white dude going, check out the 8 best bars in Shibuya. It's like, what? Holy shit. The over-tourism thing, right? The tourism in general has been caused basically about like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So you guys could totally like set up a channel in English and start talking about Japan. And to be honest, I've thought about doing a collaboration with a Japanese teacher and be like, すみません、Kai先輩と申します。よろしくお願いします。日本語が下手らしいよ。YouTube のコメントによると。ですので、助けてください。なんかメールを今書いてるよね。よかったら一緒にコラボしませんかみたいなね。カイ先輩の日本語を直してくださいみたいなね。よろしくお願いしますみたいなね。で、なんか任せるよね。なんか何か俺アドバイスありますかみたいな。日本語助けてみたいなね。で、そういう動画作って、で、逆にその先生の英語を評価します。違うか。But I don't know. Like I have ideas and I can do things, but like I would like to maybe do like some sort of collaboration with like 空き家のホストとかなんかそういうチャンネルあるからね。なんかThis house in Yokohama is cheap. So yeah, I don't know what you guys want to do with all these people coming over, right? If there's that many people coming to Japan, right? It's like, yo, sell them some product. You know what I mean? Like, get them to spend money at your shop, you know? Like, they'll go to Shimokitazawa, they'll spend money at like a furugiya or whatever. Like, dude, there was like the guy that made hats. I'm sure he talks to a lot of like foreigners. He did like flea shops or whatever. He made like hats made out of denim, you know, and I was going to buy one, but I had to go. I forget where I went, but I had to like leave the country. So it's just like, oh, then I saw him like the second time I came back. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need one right now. That was funny. Yeah. So anyway, like for what reasons would you guys like need to use English? It's like, yeah, man, there's so many like Americans going to Japan, right? Like, tell them where to go. Give them some advice, you know, like sell them some food, you know. It's amazing. I kind of want to do something, but like I don't exactly know what to do, so I kind of don't. But anyway, that's another thing too, and that's why like maybe for me doing like the live stream is just going to be a better way to kind of like find better ways to like express this conversation, because it will evolve as you guys keep coming and coming and coming, and it's going to get even more, because like, I mean, the way the podcast works is like you have to like, so each of the platforms, right? If you do YouTube or if you do Spotify, if you just do one video or two videos or three videos, nothing is going to happen. You know, you're not going to grow. You just have to like dedicate yourself. And so it's like, okay, in the meantime, I'm going to do the podcast like bare minimum in a sense, right? And this is even bare minimum. I'm actually trying, you know, like I learned the software. I'm working on like my cadence while I talk. I'm trying not to hit that pop, you know what I mean? But like whatever, I'm trying every single week to make a better live stream than the one before, than the week before, because if I keep doing it, and then like I said, if I throw in some collaborations, or maybe we watch some like videos together, or we do the like Zoom thing. If like, you know, 10 people like want to hop on at the same time and do Zoom, we can do that. There's so many different things to do. I was like, well, you know what? I know what I need to do. And that's just like turn on and start recording, you know, like that's like a like number one YouTubers, like just hit the red button and go, right? But yeah, here we are. And it's like, it's a little more complicated than just a red button. Like I'm using like better technology or whatever. But still, the experience for you guys, hopefully, is like this audio experience that you are enjoying, right? Not the visual one, not all the tech. But anyway, the 8 states. Oh my God. Now, West Virginia, that's hard to believe. But he said California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. See, I say Oregon. Nevada makes sense. Arizona, okay. Like, Arizona's changing these days, I hear. So, like, okay, makes sense, I guess. And then Louisiana, Missouri, and West Virginia. That's unbelievable. Like, Louisiana, I can't imagine anybody from Louisiana going outside of Louisiana. But, like, then again, I don't know what I'm talking about because I've only been to Louisiana once, and I have definitely not been to Missouri, and I've not been to West Virginia. But I have been to Tennessee, and I've been to Tennessee just one time, but we went down through Arkansas, came back around through Louisiana, went straight through Texas, got through to New Mexico, back to Arizona. And Arizona is, like, familiar to me, but, like, that kind of, like, south, kind of like what Midwest kind of stuff is like really feels weird. So I cannot imagine Louisiana people or Missouri people or West Virginia people going to Japan. But if you meet them, you know how you're going to tell? You're going to tell because their accent's different. I tell you, I met somebody from Virginia once, and that person was like, literally, this is my first time in California. Had this like, and I think what I'm doing is a Texas accent, but this person was just like straight up like, I've never been to California, and this is kind of like this weather is really nice. Now, Hawaii, that makes sense, right? But like I said, like West Virginia, that's amazing. So if you hear this accent, like if you hear this accent that I'm talking in right now, because it would be like, you ever been down to Shibuya? Go down to Ueno, take the train down to Ueno, go around that circle there, and come back around to Shinjuku. I don't know how they're going to say the Japanese words because it could be like way off, but there definitely is some sort of like southern twang the way they talk. But I hope you listen for it. And then the Hawaiian, that's kind of sounds like West Coast unless they're talking Pidgin. And I've heard Pidgin before, and honestly, I am embarrassed for myself. I thought they were learning English. I had never heard English Pidgin before, so it was just like, what? Like, what? So anyway, I didn't know. So anyway, yeah. So guys, and Aosan. So with all the people coming to Japan, right? The best way to tell which state they're from is through the accent, right? So if they sound like me, then they're probably from like Hawaii, California, Arizona, or Nevada, or Oregon. If they don't sound like me, they're probably from like Louisiana, Missouri, West Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma. Yeah. So I hope that you're nice to them all the time. When you see them in town, wave with two hands. I don't have a gun, right? Chigoka. No, I'm serious. Like, I have the same kind of like, you guys got to remember, like, アメリカっていう意味がないよね、最近。特に最近だよね。カリフォルニアに意味がある。俺はカリフォルニア出身だから、まあ僕らの文化とか喋り方とか、なんだろうね、なんか我々の気持ちがありますよね。他の州って、なんだろうね、ヨーロッパと同じようにドイツとフランスの違いって、まあ同じ言語なんですけれども、アメリカの場合ってでもなんか文化が違うって。だからなんだろう、楽しんでください。なんかアメリカのいろんな文化があるから、なんか区別できるのはなんだろうね、見た目でいろいろわかるよ。なんか俺だってのんびりのカリフォルニア育ちやからさ。で、近くのカフェゆっくりして、観光客もうすぐわかるよ。カリフォルニアの雰囲気がないって。今日も暑い。says rank number, and he's like number 2, fan number 2. I didn't even know I had top fans. So, by the way, guys, everybody, Wasabi-kun is number 1, okay? And then 今日も暑い is number 2. だって I don't know what that means, but cool. I'm like actually kind of stoked. So as this video popped up as a recommendation, I knew you're still alive and well as a YouTuber. Yes, maybe it's been a while for some people, that's for sure. Like, it's crazy because it's like one of the things is that I get about like, on average, I'd say about 10,000 views a day. And, just imagine you're a normal person. You watch the video once and you're like, okay, bye. Right? Like, but I know that a few thousand of you come back to my videos because when you look at the YouTube analytics, they say that you have like new viewers and returning viewers. So I see that I get a lot of returning viewers too. So it's like, hey, welcome back. How you doing? So yeah, just because you forget out about me doesn't mean somebody else is thinking about me, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that. Yeah, I think I caught that. So don't worry. No problemo. I see. Again, like it's like typing and stuff. It's like we all make mistakes, like literally. But speaking is like a different kind of thing. So Ao-san says, do you listen to New York accent? I heard they speak so fast. Yeah. And I only hear it more or less like in the movies. And when I hear it in reality, it's just like instant 誰やなんかまあ外人がいるっていう気持ちあるよ。外人っていうかここじゃない方がいらっしゃってますねみたいな。どうも。ありますよね、そういう。だって濃いよ、ニューヨークの訛りって。この間の動画じゃない、映画。結構エロいやつね。アノーラという映画があると思うんですけれども、彼女はね、なんかストリッパーっていう役で、もう完全にニューヨーク訛りあるよ。アノーラっていう動画ね。映画ね。だから、もしニューヨークのアクセント興味があればね、アノーラという映画見てくださいね。結構エロいけどね。But, yeah, no, it's just weird. Like, when I heard the accent, it's like, 結構リアルっていうか映画やけどリアルね。なんか、なんだろう、だってニューヨークのアクセントってお嬢さんの喋り方じゃないよ。コッキーさんとココミさんみたいな、Hello, I'm carrying, what's in my purse? みたいな。Yeah, New York accent's a little different, right? So when you hear a girl talking in the New York accent, there's kind of like a toughness, なんか強いって感じがするよね。So, yeah, it's real in the sense it's like there's these different kind of like feelings that each accent has, So like when you guys are like practicing your accent, it gives us a feeling. Is it a good feeling or a bad feeling? I don't know. That's for you to figure out, right? And that's why I have so many lessons. That's why I have all these podcasts, is that, いつの間にかね, you're going to be like, oh, I get it. 悟り開いた。英会話悟り開きました。Now I speak English. Now what? Cool, let's go to the cafe. Let's hang out with friends. Let's watch a movie. Let's do anything and everything because like now I get it, like now I get that all I got to do is just listen and mimic. That's it. That's all I got to do. So that's all I'm going to do. And that's it. And then you just focus on now. And then tomorrow you wake up and you focus on, well, now, but tomorrow, right? And you just keep doing this in this kind of like loop. And then all of a sudden you just transcend. That's just how it works. You just have to be content with the process. And the process is the 3 steps because you listen, mimic, and then you get out there and have the conversations. And then anytime you have a conversation and you don't understand what they said, you make a note. You ask a question. Hey, sensei, なんつって？わかんない。早い。喋り方早い。ちょっと 止めてください。I don't know what you got to say, but say something, ask a question, and then I can clarify it for you. So easy, right? It's hard for me to listen to whole American English because they don't pronounce the T. I know, right? And like I keep, like in the next video, you're going to see it. Because it's like native かどうかね、わかんないみたいな。いや、T の発音してないからネイティブでしょ。But like I said, it depends. Because like ハリーさん、今回の動画、ハリー、杉山ハリー出るよね。But like he says the T's more than I do.And it just sounds weird. I don't know why. British English sounds different. But yeah, us Americans, especially like Californians, is like we don't do T, we do D. Would you like a cup of D? But that might sound a little weird, so never mind, because the connotation of that, and I'm not going to explain it unless somebody asks me to. So, whoops. Yeah, it's the 下ネタっていう、まあ。Anyway, all the different ways that we can make English into a dirty joke, that would be a different video, and we can do that another time. So, yeah, it's hard for me to listen to the whole American English because they don't pronounce the T. I would say the T. They don't pronounce T either way. But it's hard for me to listen to. It's hard for me to. So for me to listen. So like, and this is just me, right? So like, if I'm Ao-san there and I'm talking, right? Like, hey, my name's Ao-san. Do you listen to the New York accent? Like, do you listen to the New York accent? Like, I'm saying it like a Californian, right? So, hi, I'm Ao. I'm Californian. It's hard for me to listen to whole American English because they don't pronounce the T. It's hard for me to listen. And so little things, though, hard for me to listen, right? So I don't say to, I say duh. So it's hard for me to listen to whole, or it's hard for me to listen to whole American English. Whole, and it'll be like, it's a whole American, so intonation も変わるし. So it's hard for me to listen to whole American English because they don't pronounce T. Yeah, in terms of pronunciation ね。まあ、俺もイントネーションの話してるからね。But, yeah, in terms of pronunciation, yeah. So, yeah, English is closer to British English, for sure. So, it's just, yeah, from there, it's just a matter of, like, who you want to mimic. And so, like, in the next video, コキとココミも出るから、ね、面白いと思うよ。I just,俺はコキの真似できない。できるけど、しない。っていうことですね。So you guys could be like, oh, maybe I should choose British English. But yeah, when I listen to British English, right, I don't understand everything. もしもし、聞いた？俺はね、イギリス英語聞いてわからないところあるよ。訛りが違うから。イントネーションが違うから。多分、ロンドンみたいな喋り方が分かりやすいと思うよね。なんかニュースに出てるブリティッシュね。それともビートルズの英語がもう聞き取れるし、真似できる。でも、そのイギリスの北の方、ウェールズの方、スコットランド、アイアランドみたいな、もう、なんだろう。英語なのみたいな。本当に聞き取れてないよみたいな。で、しかもなんか、ちょっと待ってみたいな言うのが恥ずかしいよね。だって俺、アメリカ人だからな。なんか英語できるはずですね。でも、あらまあ、みたいな。本当にわかんないところがあるよ。ブリティッシュって。みんな聞いてるのは、なんかその綺麗法だけだよね。でもそれは、なんか本当にもう、テレビスタジオしか聞こえないイギリス英語だよね。現実のブリティッシュイングリッシュってもうはぁって感じですね。なんだっけな、like two lock stock loaded barrel みたいなガイ・リッチーの映画。なんかもう字幕がないと聞き取れないよ。本当に。But in terms of spelling, I think Japanese English is closer American English. Yeah, I've noticed that because like the British stuff does look funny to me. Like funny. It just looks, wrong. There's just no way to put it, because it's like, for example, color, right? Like, is always color, you just see it. And then like in high school, for the first time, I see what color, why is it written like that? Like, nani kore? Mitana ne. So, I think you guys learned like the American kind of look to English. But if you're honest, if we're going to be honest, right, the British pronunciation would be easier for Japanese people, for sure. If you want to do easier, you can do easier, right? But if you just want to do California, then just do California. So, yeah, that's why I say it, because like I was in Maizuru now. So I was like, oh, I'll just learn Maizuru Japanese, because like that's where I'm at in the particular moment, right? This will be useful while I'm here. And then when I moved to Tokyo, at first I kept using Kansai Ben, because that's kind of like what I knew. But then after a while, you just kind of get used to the Tokyo style, So in all it's like a spectrum, and the more you expose yourself, you're like, oh, wow, there's like purple, red, green. Wow. It's still good to focus on just one accent for while you're learning. And then once you have like a stability with your own accent, then you listen to the other accents, and then you just hear all the differences. And they're clear because you just focused on one. So you'd be listening to like, so let's just say you learning Californian, and then you hear somebody talk from New York. You're like, whoa, that just sounds so different. Like totally different. Like unbelievably different, because you're just so used to hearing like the tone and the pronunciation in this California way. So whenever you do hear New York, it's just like so obvious, right? So yeah. And I don't understand Aomori. I don't understand Okinawa. I don't understand Kagoshima Prefecture's Japanese dialect. Like, you don't understand British? Exactly. And that's the case with everybody, is that like there is like the centralized version that a majority of people might speak. In Japanese, you guys have the official Japanese, but in English, we don't have official English. Maybe in Britain they do, but we don't honor that system. So like whatever. So like, but we do have like the majority speak one way or the other, like there's just a common kind of way of speaking. So, but there's a lot of people that do not speak the majority way of speaking. And some of those are more difficult to understand than others. It's just that simple. And even in English, it can be a problem. So if you're having the same issue in Japanese, well, that's why you're having it in English too, because there's so many different ways of talking. So yeah, that's why I say, like, for everybody that's learning English, all this conversation that we're having of like, oh, we got British English or New York English, or they don't teach you any of that in school, really. Not in any real meaningful way, So yeah, I mean, if we really want to get to the root cause of Japanese people's English problem, it's a junior high school English course. And I'm sorry, because it's like you're still at a young age where you can just like get everything done, like you can like learn it really quick while your brain is still a little more flexible, right? But 固まっちゃってからさ、とかの違いってできるよ。もうだからなんだろうね、磨くって感じですね。磨くって汚れてるっていうかさでも磨いたら綺麗になるから。And it's just by focusing on all the different things, you get confused. That's why I say, just focus on California for now. Focus on one accent for now. Get used to it for now. And then when you're kind of like bored of it, maybe you can do like a different accent. I don't know. Because like one of the things that like they don't tell you is that a lot of Hollywood actors learn the California accent or an American accent because they're from England or Australia, and they're so good. They will come on to like the talk show and like literally sound like an American, and then they like switch over to the British accent, like the real voice, and everybody is just like, what? How did you do that? And they're just like, well, they practice, right? So anybody can change their accent, but the mere fact that like all of the English education just doesn't talk about accent at all, this is why you guys are having problems. This is why English schools still exist. My solution, I don't know if I should tell you guys this, but you see this? It's going to the kids, you know? My goal is like all the adults, you guys should learn English this year, okay? Give me a week, you know, sign up for my course. Just listen to it. 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people listen to my course. It's that simple. Now, when everybody in Japan learns English, now what? Well, don't worry about me because, like I said, I've got this and I've got a whole world that is like kind of like itching to learn California English, right? So don't worry about me. I'll focus on the kids and make sure that they get these kind of lessons from like an early age because, like I said, once you get the sounds down from an early age, then you can move on to the next thing. So anyway, just if it's like the one lesson that anybody should learn from a Kai Senpai English course. You master that one sound, that one word, you can go far. It's like learning how to charm somebody kind of thing, or learning how to make somebody laugh. Like is a good word. Trust me. Use it. And if you make a mistake with it, say do. All right, guys, I think I've been talking too long, but you know, that's why I'm here. Aosan, I'm here because of this conversation. And like I said, you know, I got beginners. I've got like people that have talked to me for a few weeks now, a few months now, a few years now. I never know who I'm talking to. So thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate you on any level that you're at and any questions that you have. Because like I say, a lot of this to me is like kind of obvious, right? But for a lot of people out there, it's not obvious. Somebody needs to explain these 細かいディテールね. But that's why I make the YouTube videos, and hopefully you'll see, because you'll see like we don't use the T's, right? And I'll show you in a very specific color, and you'll see it and you'll hear it, and then hopefully one day you're just gonna start mimicking it, and then you start mimicking it, you start sounding like it, and then people are gonna say, "Hey, you sound like a Californian, or you sound like an American, or whatever," right? Like you sound more natural because you have the accent, and so. That is my wish for you, is that you listen, mimic, take it, make any notes. I'll say this over and over till you get it, but you probably already got it, so it's cool. But all the new people, they'll be like, what? What do you mean accent? And so this is weird kind of like limbo that I'm always going to be in, because when I meet a new person, it's like, what? You haven't heard about accent yet? Okay, don't worry. I'm not surprised, but you should learn about it. So check out my other video if you guys haven't checked out that one over there. It's kind of cool, and it explains everything. I'm sure some of you have already seen it. I'm sure some of you have already become my members and joined my free week. It's like you get like, I forget how many, I think I send like 20 different lessons in the free week. So check it out. And if you want to actually become like a member, then you can do that later. I'll send you the email. It's easy to sign up, get full access. But otherwise, guys, I will be here next week, hopefully, to do the live thing, to talk to you guys and to answer your questions. Yeah, Awa-san, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. And this is exactly why I'm here, just for you. Just for Ao. And also for, because Awa-san's not my, Kyomotsui is like now the number one fan. How did that happen? I don't understand. And maybe I'm going to learn, but it says that you have like points or something like that. So now Kyomotsui is my number one fan, I guess. Wow. Awa-san, you're pretty high up there too, though. Don't worry. I don't know what the points are, and I'm not asking for anybody to do that because I really don't know what it means, but I do appreciate it. No, wait, Wasabi-kun is now number one. どっちやっけ何これ XP って。まあ後で検索するから。Okay, guys. So, all said and done. Have a good week. Get outside. Go talk to some real people. Get some real information from real live human beings who are not reading scripts. I tell you, look at the Kokomi video. You guys will see it. It looks like she's reading a script, but then she'll like not read it and she'll start talking normally. So anyway, the crazy things that you hear when you listen to people. I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you guys like the new kind of format that we're going here, that we got going here with this kind of like the visuals here and the mic here and the podcast going on. Like this is kind of like only the second time that I got like the podcast going plus the YouTube video. So man, give it a few weeks, few months, and this is going to be really crazy. Emiko, thank you. I think that's Emiko. So yeah, you can jump on next time or anytime, right? Because part of the cool thing is that like, even if you've talked to me like in a private lesson or live here on the YouTube stream, it's always nice to talk with you, touch base, see how you're doing with things that you're working on and all that, right? So yeah, if anybody was concerned about me, it's just, I don't know how to deal with 1 million people. Sorry. So many people, but it's just this weird kind of like, okay, should I set up a school? How do I set up a school? I don't live in Japan, right? So how do I do this digitally? How do I do this with YouTube? Like there's so many different like moving pieces to all of this. So it's like, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu ne. So thank you guys again. And I will talk to you. Hopefully I'll finish the video this week. I gotta like shoot maybe Monday. So yeah, you guys will see the new video this week, and then I'll see you next week on the live stream. So take care. Have a good night. No, I'm having the good night. You guys have a good day, okay? Take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.